Hi class, now it's time for the fifth factor that controls temperature, and that is geographic position. What we mean by geographic position typically is the location's position in terms of, how close is it to water, is it in the middle of a continent, that sort of thing. And so I'm going to draw a picture of the United States here. Hopefully it looks like the United States to you. All right, so there's the West Coast. Here is Maine, Carolina, bump out, Florida. All right, not too bad. All right, so what we're going to be looking at is what's called a windward coastal location. So that would be on the west coast of the United States, we'll use as an example. We'll call this one a windward coastal location. I better use a fine point on this one. So windward coastal, it's on the coast, coastal location. Okay, and these windward coastal locations, the wind is coming off of the ocean. Okay, and so as a result, we have got the air blowing over in this case, the Pacific Ocean. It is this air has been over the ocean for 6,000 miles, and while it's been over the ocean, all of those factors we talked about earlier in this chapter. So water is a fluid, it mixes, it transfers its heat through convection throughout the water. The water is transparent, so solar radiation can penetrate to a greater depth and try to warm up a greater depth. And it has a high specific heat. So all of those things means that when this air reaches the coastline, it's going to have what's called a moderating effect on temperatures that are on the windward coast. So that means that you're going to have cooler summers, generally speaking, and warmer or more mild winters compared to other locations at the same latitude. Okay, so here you've got the onshore flow. Maybe we should make that note here. We've got an onshore flow carrying air that has traveled over the ocean for, in this case, 6,000 miles. Okay. On the opposite coast, again, we're going to look at it in terms of the same latitude, so there's no difference in the amount of solar energy that these two locations are absorbing. They're just on opposite sides of the coast. So now we've got wind that is flowing over the continental United States. Okay. And in this particular case, we call this a leeward coastal location. Leeward coastal location. It is on the coast. Okay, so you would think that the ocean would have some influence over it. In this particular case, it has a little bit of influence, but not nearly as much as a windward coastal location. You would think it would have a heck of a lot more influence than it does. Okay, and so here you've got an offshore flow. Let's continue our wind flow here. So this has got an offshore flow. So the ocean has less effect. this influence over these leeward coastal locations. Okay, and we'll make a similar note over here that the ocean on a windward coastal location, the ocean has tremendous influence over on this side of the continent. All right, and so there's one more location that I want to talk about, and that is in the center of the continent. So here, and so if we have a city right here, this is what we call a continental interior location. Continental interior. Okay, and generally speaking here, the ocean has no effect. The ocean has virtually no influence on temperature in terms of its moderating effect. Okay. And so it's not this location, it's dead center in the middle of the continent. There's no water around it anywhere, so the ocean has virtually no influence here. So what does this look like in terms of what we call average annual temperatures? And so I've got a figure here, again from the PowerPoint slide. It shows two locations, Eureka, California, and New York City, New York. Okay, they're at virtually the same latitude, so again, there's no bias in terms of the amount of solar energy that they are receiving. And so here, when we look at their temperatures throughout the course of the year, it's going to be mainly the influence of their geographic position being a windward coastal location in terms of Eureka, and a leeward coastal location in terms of New York. So look at first at Eureka. Notice the temperature curve throughout the course of the year is relatively flat. You're really getting that moderating effect of the ocean, air flowing over the ocean for 6,000 miles. And as a result, the range of temperature throughout the course of the year is pretty small. If you compare that to New York City, which is the leeward coastal location, notice the temperatures throughout the year have a pretty darn good extreme from winter minimum to summer maximum. Okay, so the range of minimum and maximum temperature are pretty extreme at New York City, much more so than the windward coastal location of Eureka, California. Okay, what's not on this curve is, or not on this graph, is a curve for a continental interior location. And so I'll have to draw that on for you for a place like Des Moines, Iowa, which would be a continental interior location at virtually the same latitude as New York City and Eureka, California. It would look something like this. It would be an even greater extreme. Okay, so the from their winter minimum to their summer maximum would be even greater than it is for New York City. Okay, so even colder in the winter, even hotter in the summer. So the more continental a location is, the greater the temperature extreme from winter to summer. Okay, the more coastal a location is, the less extreme. And if you're on the windward coast, there's virtually no extremes from winter to summer. They're a pretty mild climate. Okay, so that's the fifth factor that controls temperature. And we've got one more to go, and that'll be next. And that's going to be the influence of clouds.